Hello and welcome to the Consecrated Strikes build guide part 2 for season 7. Today I'm going to try and go into a little more detail with the build. This is the first time I'm doing this kind of thing on audio, so bear with me here. In my last video I made a build for season 6. It was my first build guide, and it was very much appreciate all the feedback I got from you guys, and it's very much appreciated. So a lot of you guys have been asking me to do a part 2, and I always said I would do a part 2. So here we go. The build I'm using currently, let's start with the retribution tree. I'm using improved judgments and judgment with the wise. Let's just start with that one. I primarily use these two for the mana regen. I don't got any kind of mana back like life tap or evocation or something like that. I'm even using potions and dark runes to keep my mana up on some longer fights where it's more AoE oriented, because you can keep up your mana with no problem on a single target. You will more or less be in full mana all the time. But on AoE fights we have to put on Consecration, Holy Wraths. It will drain your mana faster. So let's get back to it. Vindication is amazing because not only does it reduce the attack power of your target, it's lesser damage reduction for the boss or your target you're attacking, but it increases your holy spell power and attack power, which in turn gives you more spell power because of the what's it called, mental quickness from the enhancement tree. So that's just amazing, and it's more or less 100% uptime. We got Conviction, and I've got a couple of questions about this one because people don't seem to think you got a lot of spells, and you don't. But you do got Hammer of Wrath and Exorcism, and those two are the primary drivers of your damage. They both in turn do a lot of crit damage, which causes your Righteous Vengeance to deal a lot more damage. Your Righteous Vengeance will be your top 4, top 3 damage on damage meters on single target fights. You'll do even more damage than Seal of Command. Seal of Command will probably be your overall number 1 damage, because it scales so well with the Divine Storm and Crusader Strike, because Crusader Strike and Divine Storm will cause your Seal of Command to proc as well, so that's why you see so many numbers when you use Divine Storm, because it procs Seal of Command, which deals targets to 2 to 3 more, up to 2 more additional targets. So if there's 5 targets and your Seal of Command hits 5 targets with Divine Storm, it then deals that times the amount of damage times 5. So, addition to 2, or what I mean, you know what I mean. So, next up is Sanctity of Battle. This is a must-have. It causes your Exorcism to be instant. It causes your Exorcism to make your Hammer of Wrath deal 75% more damage, and that's just insane. And can be used regardless of the target's health. And that 70% more damage is insane. It's the reason you see sometimes I get over 7k crits with it, and I'm guessing with better gear and later content it will be even more amazing. I did a Sedis run earlier today where I saw over 8k crits with it, but that's of course with the Nordic buff. But it was just amazing. It was just so good. Must have. If you got Holy Fire and Flash of Light, that's fine. Flash of Light, I guess, is fine in PvP content. I don't know, I don't do much PvP. So, next. I'm skipping like 200 weapon specialization because it only increases my physical damage and crit chance. And melee crit chance, it doesn't increase my holy crit chance, so it's not really worth it. You want your holy crit chance to be as much as possible. More or less. Of course you can get more melee crit chance as well, it's fine, but holy crit chance is where it scales better due to Righteous Vengeance with Hammer's Wrath and Exorcism. Of course, Vengeance, that's a no-brainer. You got the Art of War, must have, increases your damage overall, and it also causes your Exorcism to be instant cast. So this is a must-have. We got Fanaticism, because it increases your Judgment crit by 18%, and the threat is always nice, but your Judgment of Command will easily crit from 3 to 4k. On single target fights where you can get your rotation up and going. X-Fight Wrath, increased 30% crit chance with with the Hammer of Wrath is just insane. And then we got the reduction of Exorcism by 40%. It causes it to have a 6-second cooldown, which more or less means you can cast a Hammer of Wrath and Exorcism every 6 seconds. But I'll get more into that with the rotation. Of course, we got Consecrated Strike and Divine Storm. And then Righteous Vengeance. Righteous Vengeance actually got a buff in the late Season 6. It cost not only your Crusader Strike and your Hammer of the Righteous, and your Judgment spells, Exorcism, Divine Storm spells to cause more damage over time, but it added Hammer of Wrath. You can see it's added as the first part there. But they added Hammer of Wrath to this spell, and that was just an insane buff in late Season 6. It's more or less why you see it do so much. You see Consecrated Strikes palette is doing so much damage on single targets. Before this buff, it was very useless on single target. It was fine, you did fine, you can do like average, but with this edition you can actually pull off a lot more damage. So, moving on to protection, we got Divine Strength. 6% strength, that was good, but you primarily use it for your 6% strength as hit rating. In the Holy Tree you got Shields of the Pure, because 30% extra damage and seal command, and Judgment of the Pure is an additional 20% seal damage and judgment damage, 50% judgment damage. And the 6% haste is always nice. It's not a major buff, but you primarily use it for the more damage. Right. In the Shaman tree, you've got Mental Quickness for the extra spell power, because you are hybrids and you want more or less hybrid gear, so the more spell damage and strength you can get, the better. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So, the gear I'm currently using. I'm more or less heroic geared, it's nothing major, I'm just a solo player playing for myself. I'm not even in the guild. So this is my gear currently. I got this with my first prestige and haven't replaced it since. It's fine, it's good at 40 attack power and 14% crit strike rating, which is nice because it also adds to my spell crit. I'm using this Bard Thumbnail, which I also got on my second prestige run. Haven't replaced that one yet, but it got spell power, so that's fine. Using True Strike Shoulders, mainly because of the hit rating. Only got 50 as you see, and then I'm using the RE to get me 2% more, so I'm at 7. This gets buffed as you get Consecrated Strikes going, you get more hit rating because of more strength, but also from the Crusader enchant on my weapon. Black Baron, because that's all I got. Plays the Shaman King. This is very nice, it's got all the stats we need. We got intellect, stamina, and strength, and spell power. I really want the one from ZG. I got the braces, I really want the breastplate because it's got all the stats we want. We got strength, intellect, and agility, the extra crit and spell power. As my weapon, I'm using the Sleeping Hollow from Heroic Upper Blackrock Spire. It got strength and intellect, which is just what we need, and increased spell power. The chance on hit one is just useless, doesn't matter. But the 25% to 25 spell power is really, really nice. I'm using Rape Hook just for the attack power, increased spell power. Sacrificial Gauntlet from ZG. Delar, Freethinker Spells. Level Crystal Leggings because of the high strength. I'm looking to replace these with something, I don't know what yet. But I'm quite happy with them because they give so much strength. Swiftboard Boots, I'm looking to replace these as well. This is just mainly a crit boost for my melee crit, but the 9 crit rating is always nice. Myrmidon Sickness, I bought this on the auction house for like 50 gold. Gives Guru by Berserker, this is nice because it got 40 attack power. It's not strength, but you would need like 20 strength ring equivalent to get that much attack power. So you lose a little bit of hit rating there, but you get much spell power. Second Breath for the crit rating. And Briarwood Reed. I do got the heroic version of Hammer of Justice, and Hand of Justice. But the extra hit doesn't matter much because your seal of commands, first of all, so people have asked me why the fuck I didn't use Wind Fury weapon. And the thing is, Wind Fury weapon is fine, but the extra attacks you get from both Zephyr and the Wind Fury attack doesn't proc Seal of Command. And that's the story there, because it's fine, but your main damage is not melee, it's not physical damage. So you don't go for armor penetration, you don't go for increased physical damage, you would go for increased overall damage or increased holy damage, because that's 90% of your damage. So you could go for Win-Free attack, that's fine. If you like it, use it, of course. But I would probably use Rockbiter weapon if I can get it. Currently I'm just rocking the Consecrated Strikes RE, which is fine. It adds about... It crits about 1,000, 1,200. I don't know if I've got a recent... I don't. But I will take it on a dummy later. But it adds about 17% more Seal of Command hits. I just did some simple maths here and calculated that around 17% of your Seal of Command hits procs come from Consecrated Strikes, because Consecrated Strikes weapon enchantment also procs your Seal of Command, which is very nice. This is very good on AoE fights because you get that additional damage, but you can also use the Commanding Strikes RE for the 20% increased damage on the Seal of Command, but that just removes the AoE potential. So yeah, keep that in mind. But I would read, because 29 spell power, I'd actually have a chance to get the heroic version, but I gave it away. So it increases my one spell power. I could rock like the heroic version on this one. I don't know if you can do that. If you can, that's nice, but I do like the 2% crit I get from Breakhand's Breath. Right, so that's the gear. For Mystic Enchants, I'm rocking Strength and Faith, because increased physical damage and holy damage. About physical damage, it's nice because it's not the best you can get, but it's nice. 1 second. But because it increases your Crusader Strike and your Divine Storm damage, and your Steel Command damage, which all increases your Righteous Vengeance damage. It's fine, but it's just holy damage just scales better, so I use it for this one. You can also use the Crusade Enchants, which increases your holy damage by 2%, I think. 2%, yeah. Yeah, should probably use it. I think I picked the other one because this one was stupidly expensive on your house. I haven't gotten it yet, so I'll probably change it out later. Right, so moving on. Weapon commands. I don't use this for the attack speed, it's fine, it's nice, but I use it for the Tenet Expertise. Bountiful Holy Wrath, because I got Holy Wrath. It's nice for AoE situations, so I'll probably change this out for Commanding Strikes on AoE fights. I'll just put up Commanding Strikes for you who doesn't know it. Direct Command, I'm sorry, that's one. Increase your seal damage by 20%, or 30%. Yeah, it got buffed. It's 20% over here. So it's actually got buffed on single targets. So I'll probably change out my Bountiful Holy Wrath with Direct Command on single target fights. Consecrated Strikes, of course, increases your strength by 10% and your spell fire by 30% with strength, but it also increases your allies' strength by 5%. And if you've got another Consecrated Strikes player around you, you'll also get those 5% strength. So if you add all these up, you get 5% from Pleasant Kings, you get 5% from Pleasant Sanctuary, you get 6% from Talents, you get 5% from Consecrated Strike from another player. So you can add up that increased strength by a whole lot, and that increases your attack power, which in turn increases your spell power, which increases your attack power, that also increases your spell power, and increases your hit rating. So count as much strength as you can. I'm using Precision because I really need the hit rating. I'm using 1 in Expertise, just get a little bit up, I'm at 17 at the moment. I'm using 300 Freedom Shields as Pure, increasing my Sealing Judgment damage by 15%. Faithful Flex, because increases my holy damage by 10%. And this one is quite hard to keep up, but I will try to make a rotation and try to explain it to you so it makes more sense. Sanctions Battle, because increasing my Crusader Strike, Divine Storm, and Exorcism, Consecration by 6%, and Fanaticism, it gives me 9% more crit chance on judgments. So there we go. As for the rotation, I'll see. I don't remember if it's dummy in Iron Forge, but if not, I will cut this out and we'll get to it in a bit. So I couldn't find a dummy in Iron Forge, so here we are. So let's go over the boss real quick. I got Blessing of Might. As we got the Beast, we got Totem of Earth and Strength of Earth Totem, and we got the Curse of the Elements on the dummy. So this gives me 23% crit, 17.5 and 22.3% spell crit. Gives me 552 holy spell power, 1114 attack power, and 53 hit rating. The macros real quick. I've macroed the cast sequence to my charge, so I can charge and cast Strength of Earth Totem immediately. I've made a macro for my Exorcism and Hammer of Wrath, also cast sequence. Let me give all those real quick. You can always just pause the video and copy this. So this is my Exorcism and Hammer. It allows me to use Exorcism and Hammer of Wrath on one button, and my charge, same deal. Charge and Strength of Earth Totem. So here we are. The first part of my rotation is always Judgment. So let's give it a start. We Judge to get 3% crit. Immediately going for Crusader Strike, Exorcism, Divine Storm, Hammer of Wrath, Crusader Strike, Judgment, Hammer, Exorcism, Crusader Strike, Hammer of Wrath, Seal of Justice, I like a great Crusader Storm, Exorcism, Crusader Strike, Hammer of Wrath, Judgment, Crusader Strike, Exorcism, Divine Storm, Hammer of Wrath. So that's the basic rotation. Now, I talked a bit about this Faithful Flex. You could ask me why don't I just spam my Exorcism and Hammer of Wrath immediately. This is because of the Faithful Flex buff. You want to rotate between your physical abilities, which is Divine Storm and Crusader Strike, and interchanging between Exorcism and Judgment and Hammer of Wrath to keep that 10% buff going. So I'm just going to take a slow move here. So Judgment, Crusader Strike gives me one buff, Exorcism, Divine Storm gives me another buff, Hammer of Wrath, Crusader Strike gives me another buff, Exorcism, Judgment because everything else is in cooldown, Crusader Strike, Hammer of Wrath. Now we've got 5 stacks here with Divine Storm, Exorcism, Crusader Strike, Hammer of Wrath, Judgment, Crusader Strike. So I always try to prioritize my physical abilities over holy, just to maintain my Faithful Flex buff. And that's more or less what there is to it. This is, of course, this is easier to maintain on single target fights with just staying still. On targets that's not long, don't mind keeping up your Faithful Flex. It's not worth it. On shorter fights, just go nuts and spam your abilities as much as you can. But on single target fights, you can, if you can keep this up, it will give you more damage. Sure. So let me do a short rotation here. I'm just focusing on my rotation. And after this, I will put in a video of a heroic Blackrock Depths run I did earlier today. Just a random one. You will get a picture of how it performs in the dungeon. So let's give it a go here. So there I actually missed my Faithful Flex. Sometimes you just go on muscle memory and you will cast Exorcism. If you do, just cast it, don't cancel it, just use it immediately. It will give you DPS, it's a minor DPS loss, but it's better than canceling it. And don't get disheartened on shorter fights if you don't feel like you're performing well. This build, this rotation requires a bit of wind up because we've got Vengeance and the Faithful Flex, like there I missed it. So don't get disheartened if you don't feel like it's performing as well as you expect, because it takes a while. You see, in the beginning I was pulling 1500 DPS and now it's 2200, almost 22. So don't get disheartened. Your DPS will get up there. You just require a bit longer fights. So let's take a quick look at the damage. So right here it's Hammer's Wrath and Exorcism. They are your number 1 and 2 performers. And this is why I'm saying that the spell crit is so important. You see here is only 18% spell crit, which is actually terrible considering I have 22.3. And then we have got Hammer's Wrath, which got 53% crit. It's fine, because it matches the 30% crit I get from the spell, from the talents, and the 22% crit here, so that's fine. Seal of Command, number 3. This is mainly because the Righteous Vengeance, the Exorcism, didn't crit as much. The Righteous Vengeance should be number 3 here. But these two will always compete. You got Judgments of Command as your number 5. This primarily lay around number 5. You see melee is way down the bottom, same with Crusader Strike and Divine Storm. Those two actually don't give you that much damage, but they enable everything. So there we go. So this was the rotation. I hope you can use this.